Yeah, you already know what it is, man. It's your boy Kill. So Frosty, I'm here with my co-host.
Flexible Pre.
And who we got in the building right now, man?
King Kush, Instagram King Kush 718, KUSHKING 718.
Yo, talk to him. Yo, King Kush, man, we gonna start it off like this, man. Tell us exactly where you coming from, man.
I was born and raised in the 90s, moved to the 40s. Then
But the 90s side of Flatbush?
Yeah, East Flatbush, by Bob Marley Boulevard.
All right.
By Kings Highway 9 first, then moved to the 40s. Then went to college, Temple University, came back to Brooklyn.
Temple University in Philadelphia?
Philadelphia.
Okay.
Came back to Brooklyn. Family was in the floors, and went to Canarsie High School, so it was always in the floor. So it was Brooklyn all day. Catch me outside, Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, Crown Heights, all over. You know what I'm saying? I'm everywhere, but nowhere at the same time, you know?
Gangster. So
And what kind of influenced you to pick up rap? Like you was doing it way back?
Well, I learned how to deal with the engineering and DJing when I went to college. When I was in college, I was DJing and hosting parties. And from there, we started buying equipment, speakers, and computers. We was getting computers free from the university.
Yeah, I want to make sure, my fault, I don't want to cut you off, but I want to make sure that you kind of close to the mic so it sounds perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got the speakers and everything. And once we we started buying equipment from throwing parties, clubs, or house parties. And from there, I started learning Adobe, because Adobe had the Adobe Audition program from way back from them days. So
that's before Pro Tools.
Yeah. And from there, we just started recording. Everybody was like, yo, you got skills, and just kept going with it from there.
True say, my boy Pre kind of skipped a line or two. You know what I'm saying? What I want to say is, as you growing up and everything like that, how was it like for you growing up and you moving around like that?
It was a blessing because you got to see different parts of different cultures from different cities. When you see, like when I moved to Philly, you seen like it was in a Brooklyn environment from the 80s. It was like the Bronx in the 80s. Like how you see a lot of band and build a lot of bandos. You seeing like, and it's on university grounds. So you seeing both sides. You seeing kids coming from good, so-called good families, and they coming in there and maximizing their capabilities and potential. And at the same time, you're seeing people suffering. There's more abandoned, at that time, it was more abandoned buildings than homeless people in Philly. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, fact though, I used to be in Philly my damn self, so I know exactly what you're talking about, because I used to be out there in North Philly. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to be like on Diamond and Darien.
That's where I was at, Diamond and 15th.
Oh, word?
Yeah, she should be more 15th.
Yeah, I used to be out there too, so I know exactly what you're talking about when you speak about like the
environment,
like the poverty line.
Yeah, the environment.
Like it's at the point when I was out there, it was crazy. Like when I came from Brooklyn too, so it's like coming from Brooklyn and you going out there to Philly, and you thinking Brooklyn is always the hoodest place and everything, like that, and then not for nothing, I got to Philly, I'm like, what the hell going on out here, son? These dudes, it felt like, I'm saying no disrespect to Philly, but it kind of felt like they were still stuck in our 80s time.
Yeah.
Because the cribs are abandoned. Not for nothing, a lot of people are on drugs. Like I'm saying, they pop pills out there. I don't know if when you was out there.
Yeah, that was heavy. Pills,
the Xannies. That's where I first learned about
Xannies. Exactly. $10 for a pill.
Xannies and perks.
Everybody on zombie time.
Yeah, I'm talking about way before. Like you see how people talk about Xannies and everything right now? I'm talking about way before that, bro. When people was doing blues. Like, you get where I'm coming from? So, growing up in that environment, a lot with Philly being so diverse, especially when it comes to the people that's going to college and then the people that's in the hood getting money off the people from college. How was that for you out there when you was on campus?
It was a crazy dynamic, you know what I'm saying? I just happened to be there at a time that was perfect because at that time the music was coming back to Philly. That's when Freeway, all of them, you know what I'm saying?
Sound like we was out there the same time, bro.
It had to be.
Yeah, because when I was out there, it was right around the time when the Locks was beefing with Beanie Siegel type joint.
And I used to be hosting freestyle parties and battle parties. That's how I met Smack. Smack started coming out there back then. And the shit was crazy.
Who's Smack from Smack DVD, right?
Yeah, he was out there. Like, I was mad. I was out there, college student, Pharrell and the Clips came out there. I was part of the Temple University radio station, and that's when they came out there. That's like when they had Roscoe P, Cold Chain in them. Same era, you know what I'm saying? And it was just, and that's when Music Soul Child and all that, it brought back like soul R&B music during that era. So it was a beautiful time because people was really united. Like I'm talking about dudes from the hood was coming inside the university, chilling. They coming to parties. Everybody was vibing. It's not like how you would think it would end up being because it's like such a dichotomy between the two people. You got university students and people that may potentially never seen themselves going to college, even though they literally in the same vicinity of a university. You understand what I'm saying? It's like a crazy dichotomy.
So let's talk about you growing up in Brooklyn, man. You living in Brooklyn, you was living in the 90s and you moved to the 40s. How was that?
That was another transition in my life. And it was just like a continual process to meet people that would put gems in your ear to make sure you get to that next point. Because I went to, there's one of the first martial arts school over there on Church Ave. Shout out to Ben's Institute of Martial Arts. I went there, that gave me a sense of discipline and able to control myself as a young black man. Cause we all warriors, we grew up that way. We have to have discipline to be able to function in this world because everything is against us. So in order to get to that next point in life, you have to create a discipline amongst yourself. So from there, I ended up over there and then you had a whole bunch of people that was showing me like, yo, stay this way, stay this way. I did that, I played basketball, and it was just a lot of people forcing me to stay focused. Like, you got potential, you got talent, do this, do that. People putting different ideas in my head. And that's what eventually led me to go to college.
You said you went from the 90s to the 40s to the Floss.
Yeah.
So Floss was right before you went to college.
No, my family ended up coming to the Floss after.
Okay.
After the 40s?
After I came back from college.
Okay.
Well, they came there when I came from while I was in college. My family.
So which side of the 40s you was at exactly?
The early 40s. I mean, the 40s all over basically, but I was on 49th in Church, then I was on 42nd and Lenox.
Okay. So that's basically around the same area and stuff like that. I mean, it's like I told you already, we do our own research and we definitely taps in and whatever. I mean, there's like I know there's a link to you between I and stuff like that. You want to speak about that? Yeah,
that's another part of Church Ave. Church Ave is so cultural, so historic. Shout out to Spliff Star, shout out to Buster, shout out to Screechy, Don, Red Fox, them put down foundation from a long time. So even Shaggy, Wyclef, you talking about the historical significance of these type of people that was putting culture in the community and gave people an outlet to voice their opinion or show their talent so everybody could just vibe and have unison.
That's what's up. But going back to the I situation, you want to break it down to the people what that was about exactly, because a lot of people
monumental it was.
A lot of people will probably forget about that, and this is the time we talk about I LPs and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So like, you want to break down to the people like how that was going down and what was going down around those times?
Well, my father, he go by the name Ras Ayatu, Babatu, and he was one of the founders for the Rastafari movement to get legally recognized in Brooklyn, New York. And from there, he linked up with the people that was dealing with I, and he was like an elder to them. And he gave them the tradition for the Rastafari movement and strengthened it to this day. So that's how that groundation going.
Yeah, for some people that may not know, if you heard about LP, that was like in East New York, correct? I don't want to mess up the
Linden and Powell.
Yeah, Linden and Powell. But if you was from the Bush, I was like a whole different. That's where we knew at. You know what I'm saying? We drove out to go to LP, but if we ain't driving to go to LP, we definitely going to I. You know what I'm saying? They had the good, when the
when they changed that to the Burger King.
What they did with that? Smokey would know better than me. Yeah.
No, not I.
LP definitely Burger King. Yeah. So like I was saying, like you hear a lot of rappers talk about LP. I'm saying
LP,
even Fat brought it up.
Pink Panther.
That's right by BRC.
Yeah, LP, Pink Panther.
That was like
the
the three
legendary spots in Brooklyn. You get
if you was outside, you was outside. You know what
I'm saying? As a youngin', if you was outside, you was definitely outside for that. So exactly what inspired you to do like the rap music? When you coming from over there, you got all the inspirations like Buster, Spliff Star. They definitely helped put Flatbush on the map and all the other on the map.
Screechy Don, Red Fox, that's Pum Pum Shorts. They had the big up.
You coming from that side?
Would you say that though? Would you say I'm just have to be controversial, man? You know what I mean? So would you say that though? Did Buster really put Flatbush on the map?
No, not Flatbush on the map. That side of Flatbush and Church.
I don't think he really repped it.
What?
He said he didn't really rep it like he was supposed to. Like we don't associate Flatbush with Buster like we associate Bed-Stuy with Biggie.
The problem is because
I'm keeping it funky.
I'm gonna be honest, right? So let me be honest. At the time, because I think because of the reggae scene on Church Avenue, and you know, people was trying to transition into the rap scene, so we was like, oh, he's keeping it a little too cultural because, you know, you got the dreads, he's moving, he's talking to patois and everything. So we may not have put him as the forefront of Flatbush, but that area is, yo, dog.
Growing up, he was the forefront of Long Island, bro.
Listen, no.
I'm just keeping it funky.
No. Smoke. No. When we was out there, bro, right, you pull up on Church Ave, Troy Ave sides and everything, you got Spliff Star, you got Buster, and those are the rappers.
I know about Spliff. We can't question Spliff.
But Spliff Star, like,
see Buster Rhymes on the corner
all day, bro.
Yeah, but
shout out to Cab, Church Ave boys too, you heard?
You know what I mean?
It's facto. So tell us, man, so being that you have all that influence, how did you get to like start rapping and stuff like that? Was that did you start from rapping from when you were in college, or?
Yeah, well, I used to write poetry as a youth, but I never took.
This is the second guy with the poetry, man. And you see, that this is what people don't understand about the art of rap. It's not just we just jumping into stuff. Some people really started from poetry and then took the poetry because it comes from the pain or the heart, I should say. And it's like, yo, you know what? I could do this rap stuff. So this is the second guy we had today that started off from poetry. And that's not the only guest we ever had start from poetry when it comes to rap. So what I want to say is, so how did you transform from poetry to rap?
Well, the transformation was when I got to college, you know, when I went out there, I had no TV, no radio. I went out there, Dolly, didn't live on campus. When it was on 15th and Cecil B, in the heart of the ghetto. And it was just, I was dolly. Nobody was with me. And no cell phone. That's when, at that time, it was the Netflix, the blurp blurp. And I was
You
just
mean
dolly.
the Nextel, the Nextel.
Yeah, the Nextel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was just like a whole different environment. And I was writing poetry. And then from then, I linked up with Boots, Versatile, and Jason, and we formed Cali. And from there, we started, like I said, we started buying the equipment, getting computers.
So I'm gonna ask you this question: were y'all doing reggae first, or were y'all doing rap first?
Well, I was hosting the parties, throwing the parties, then started DJing. Then from there, I went to MCing, like holding the mic and crowd control. And from there, people was like, yo, you have crowd control. You know how to get people ears and guide them to get to the next part of the party. So why you don't do music? You do poetry. I started doing it, recording. And from there, I just never stopped.
So you record yourself?
Yeah, I used to record myself, and I came out with my first CD. And crazy thing was, I came out here and I shopped it around. I went to different labels, and I went like every major label in the city, and it was called Consequences of the Diaspora. I printed up 500 copies myself, the first set, and I was shopping around, and I came out with a song called Imagine If the World Changed. And then right after that, around that time, that's when Snoop and Dre came out with a song called Imagine.
And what inspired you to make the type of content you make?
My degree. I have a degree in Africana Studies, but I actually didn't graduate from Temple. I graduated from Brooklyn College. So it was, went from there to Brooklyn College.
So what happened? You was in Temple turning up too much, so you had to get back to the city.
Turning up too much, getting too much attention, and I was dolly, and certain things started happening with the toys out there, so, you know. Yeah.
All right, so and moving on and everything, you start rapping and everything. I want to ask you this question, like, you know what I'm saying? So how was the streets that influenced you in New York influence your lifestyle, basically? You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, New York at that time was really shifting from like certain gang era type joint. It started being a little different. How did that affect you, being that, you know, you might be on your reggae stuff, but then you got the streets that's on some straight like gang stuff and stuff like that around that time?
Well, going from the era where you see Decepticons, Zulu Nation, Transformers, to my era, my age group era, to see it went from some New York to a whole different coast to coast vibe. You see the influence of the game, and I wasn't even spitting at that time. And I was more so incorporating my degree in my music in my early stages, and then I started speaking more of my upbringing and my influences of the street life as I started moving forward and progressing and constructing my bars in a better aspect. So it just taught me that people say art imitate life or life imitate art. It's all on your perspective. You know, for me, it's art imitates life because we give art life. You know what I'm saying? Without us, there would be no art. So we give art life. So that made me realize you have to pick your words wisely, portray yourself wisely, and make sure people comprehend there's a difference, because I forgot. I think during that same time, Pac and Biggie era, there was a big controversy where they saying, "Oh, we shouldn't put out this." Like same thing was going on with the drill music, but it's the same thing that's in these movies. You would never judge a director or a story playwright, somebody for writing a movie that has violence or things in it. Now, you have to know where that thin line lies at. Thin line lies at, and you can't cross that boundary, because if you do, then now it's criminal activity. And that's the big difference between hip hop music and these directors and stuff, because some of these dudes actually living these lives and then telling on themselves in the music, and then it gets them caught up. So that's where it's going, right now, and that's how I see the game been going. And it's up to us to change that aspect of art.
You got any new projects like you working on and like you touching on that type of subject matter?
At that time, I'm about to put out a mixtape at this time. It's gonna be more so of like contemporary music, contemporary instrumentals and previous instrumentals from the past, and as well as things I've put out from before, remaster them and put them back out.
No, not only that. Well, I think he's basically asking you, like, basically, I know you put messages in your music. Yeah. What he's trying to say is, do you put your message in the music as far as what's going on with because a point that I like to say that you did point out is, from back in the days, it's like this. It always felt like they tried to ban hip hop in a way. Like, you get where I'm coming from? It was gangster rap. You had people like Oprah, Bill Cosby, all these type of people speaking out against rap because they just didn't like the word bitch, or they didn't like, or they say that we were degrading women or whatever. And then now today, we might say that the kids are snitching on themselves, but do you feel like when we're younger or whatever, that that's like maybe a form of impression the way the kids are talking about themselves? Yeah, well, just the thing, they know hip hop originates from the youth. You had Kool Herc, Jamaican DJ, making people's voice over the drops of the beat, spinning it back. It went from B-boy days to where you transitioned, like you said, with KRS-One and all of them, and it went to the gangster, another genre. But now they basically took away, because hip-hop had specific genres. You had gangster rap, you had boom bap, you had conscious rap, and they started taking away these genres to now the point where everybody feels you have to do this drill music to get put on and get to the next level. So we need to create this platform where people can bring back these genres. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna have to touch down on this too. I mean, I know you rocking a lot of orange, so that speaks for itself. You know what I'm saying? You want to speak on that part of your life? Well, from Church Ave, so you already know Groove Line, FD. King Kush. Once again, my Instagram is King Kush 718. So let's make sure you got the drop with everyone. Yeah. Shout out to Cali. Hoover Street. It is what it is. That's what you gotta say about that. Yeah. I'm saying you talk about Hoover. Hoover is a main line when it comes to like the street line, as far as I'm talking about. So you want to give the people how Church Ave got the Groove Line to their side type joint? Well, we've been outside from a long time, so. Once homies just tapped in, people linked up, and that's the foundation. Nah, I feel you though. So that's the foundation of it on the Ave. I mean, growing up on the Ave, I used to be outside too. So growing up on the Ave, it was a lot of, let's say, like maybe like 83rd Streets on the Ave. And 8 Trays, maybe KGCs and stuff like that. So how did y'all come about in the midst of all of that happening? Well, me personally, I grew up amongst them same brethren. And like I said, there were people over there from 40 side that kept me... That been on the Groove Line? No, from A-Trade that kept me focused. Okay. Like shout out, free the homie Squingy and Stitch. Homie Bugs, Logan, Kwame. You know what I'm saying? Brethren like that. Swiss, them brethren kept me focused. You know what I'm saying? Like, kept me really... understanding about life and knowing what life is about and how you get to that next level of life, and be really understanding like being a man and a warrior, educated, gangster and a gentleman, the truth behind life, you know what I'm saying? Those like my big brothers. Do you feel like because you were educated and stuff like that, people would be like, yo, you know what, man, you went to college and all that other stuff, you make it rap, and we may not want to listen to that type of because you know how it is when you rapping and you might be trying to kick knowledge in your raps. People might be like, "Oh, that's not what we're on right now." whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because me personally, I used to be a gangster rapper. When I was young, I'm gangster on some gangster joint. So even when I was young, I used to take like knowledge rap, like I don't want to hear that shit right now. This shit ain't relating to me. But did you have that experience when you doing that, and people that maybe living the gangster life, they're like, that's cool
ignorant,
and all.
that's all.
Who?
You, nigga. You just ignorant.
Just leave me alone. This is why I like drill today. It reminds me when I was young, like, we spend on you.
People have a short attention span, unfortunately. That's why you see TikTok, they give you a limited amount of seconds. Mm-hmm. Instagram, you post a story, most people post 15 to 59, not even 60. They don't even get to 60. It's 59 seconds. People have a short attention span.
Yeah.
They want information right away. And then at the same time, it's kind of contradictory because people have information at their fingertips and they don't even utilize that to gain the proper knowledge. Most people want to be ignorant because it benefits them. Because if they know the truth, it's going to make them look like a hypocrite, and then they have to break their reality, and it just fucks up their head. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I agree.
As
with
an
that.
artist, you never feel like feel like the need to try to make music to fit into today's.
And sometimes you may feel the pressure. Me, it's like I'm gonna stay true to myself. I vibe off of an instrumental.
Yeah.
Once I get an instrumental and I get that information from the Most High, He tells me that's what I got to put on that track. That's what I go with. You know what I'm saying? I trust in the Most High.
That's real right there.
He gives me that inspiration.
Yo, today is just spiritual and cultural today,
that's
bro.
That's how I used to vibe. Like you could hear a beat today, and that beat doesn't tell you nothing. You probably hear that beat 2-3 months later, and that beat tell you a whole different story.
Yeah, I can't lie. With me personally, when I was growing up, everything was just gangster to me. I had to have something that relates to my lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my son Smoke. He in the background right now. He knows what I'm talking about. At that time, we like, man. And not for nothing, at the time, when it was like around Jay-Z times or something, you know, he came through like, you trying to kick? Nah, that's why we don't want to hear that garbage. And, you know, it related to us, whether Jay-Z want to admit it or not, that he did take part of making the culture feel like, we don't want to hear that right now, because you had the KRS. You had a few MCs that was doing their thing. EPMD, KRS. Is it EPMD? I might be bugging.
Nas was the main culprit.
KRS-One. Before Nas, I actually listened to KRS-One. And that was my dude.
Yeah, but they lost us by the time 98, 99.
Because of Jay-Z. So that's what I'm trying to explain. So was that like when you hear, like, let's say you're doing your music and then people are like, oh my God, this guy is kicking this, that, and we don't want to hear it right now. Like, just like he said, do you feel like, you know what, I'm just gonna do this track, get where I need to go, and then maybe turn into what I need to do?
Nah, not at all. I'm gonna just stay true to myself, and those who listen gonna hear the truth. Those who not, so be it. I know I have plans and goals. I'm strategically planning my moves, and it's chess, not checkers. You know what I'm saying? All
right, let's talk some real joint. Like, even being educated, there was a time and point where everybody would be like, yo, you going to school, son? Yo, you going to college, son? Yo, you ain't on the shut. Like, did you ever have that type of like experience?
Not at all. That's why, like I said, people have their purpose in life, and once people recognize you for who you are, because somebody may see you or my brethren right here on the gram, and they just gonna hate naturally. Like, yo, he doing this thing. But once you know that person and y'all vibing, that positive vibration go off and things is gonna flourish. Somebody else is gonna hate and it just turn into something else. So you don't even have to go that direction. It's all about
pay it any mind or something.
Nah, because people are gonna feel how they feel regardless. Like, we are who we are, and once you know yourself, can't nobody break you. You're gonna progress the way you need to progress. And once you listen into that message and that vibration from the creator, you're gonna get it. People that go that direction worship the creation. You understand what I'm saying? Once you worship in the creation, you're gonna go that direction because you lusting after these things, these earthly realm things that you feel is gonna benefit you for people to worship you. You wanna be on a, like, when you talking about gods of the city, we all gods, but people want to be worshipped as the God. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the difference. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that. See, that's something I'm deep into, because that's how I feel about, like, us as a culture, period. Like, we are the gods of the city, whatever city you from. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I kind of talk to people about being like a certain way, because it's like, I might be like, I always use the word elite. And it seemed like somebody might be like, oh, you want some cocky shit, or you want some whatever, pretty boy John, you want some light skin John, whatever. So, but I want to ask you this though, you know what I'm saying? Being light skinned in the game, did you have like a lot of situation where people like, this light-skinned dude over here talking some other joint. He might be a Ross or whatever, but you know how the community goes though. A community always judged by like the exact tone. You might be light-skinned, they're like, you light-skinned, so you might not be on it how we on it. That's why we may not understand you like that.
Well, I've never faced no colorism. I've seen people conduct themselves in that behavior, but me personally, I've never experienced colorism. Wherever I go, wherever I've been at, I'll be amongst the craziest people. Never to the most humblest people.
You mad lucky, sir.
That's what I'm saying. I just been blessed.
Been in churches and I didn't heard that shit. I'm like, damn, so I was just with y'all.
But that's because maybe somebody girl was feeling you like that and they was hating.
See, that's why they don't like us. See, you gonna say
that's
that
the
now? You like,
so, maybe it was somebody girl and they saw how their girl looked at you. I mean, I've got those looks, but I just never paid it no mind. You know what I'm saying? That's not my fault. That's not my problem.
All right, so moving forward, now that you're doing your music thing or whatever the situation is, how do you feel like the crowd, the people or the fans or the streets is responding to your music? You know what I'm saying?
I've been getting a good reception. I would love it to grow to a whole nother scale and make sure people really understand my message and my purpose and my goals for what I want to attain, not only for myself, but my community. You know, Flatbush, Canarsie, Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, to see, especially like just to see the transition in Canarsie specifically from because Flatbush, Bed-Stuy, everything was going, and to see how Canarsie, that was like the last piece, literally, of Brooklyn. You understand what I'm saying? To make Brooklyn get to that point. And now this is the stage where it's set. All of Brooklyn got they chance to specifically shine, Crown Heights, everybody. So now this is when it's supposed to come back and we're supposed to get that unison and make it jump off, because everything is like in that Biggie song with Jay-Z. They shouted out Canarsie, but it was one of the last places to shout out, you know what I'm saying? And I was out there from 9-5, 9-4 when dudes used to be going out there taking little kids' bikes, you know what I'm saying? So, and then you see the area transition from the community that was there to
where it's at now.
Exactly. You understand what I'm saying? And you see like the brethren here from long time. So you see what it is to see the transition. You literally watching it, and you just, it's like, it's crazy how it go. And people don't understand. Like we were saying, the stone that the builder refused shall be that head cornerstone. You understand what I'm saying? So
bring that back for me real quick.
The stone that the builder refused shall be the head cornerstone.
I mean, I gotta ask because I don't know what it is. What does that mean exactly?
Well, it's several aspects to it. You know what I'm saying? It's the traveler aspect where you building, you know what I'm saying, and you get into from the groundation to the roof. You know what I'm saying? And then you also have the position where, like we was just talking about the Kanye documentary, where people was doubting him, but yet still look how far he has come and progressed.
And look who he is today, right? So it's like the rappers that y'all praise. So the way I say, right? Y'all praise all these little the Mormon rappers.
Who's that?
You know what I mean? Like the Mormon rappers is like a subgenre. A subgenre is like drill. You understand me? So y'all praise these little Mormon rappers, right? And then y'all ignore the actual talent. But the actual talent will actually last longer and will be the one that's recognized as the real legend in their craft.
But
so he's like the stone, like, so that's what it kind of reflects on the saying and shit.
I understand, but what I'm gonna say is this: don't you feel like maybe because there was a time when hip hop was all about spreading a positive message, and then it came to gangster music. Don't you feel like even when gangster music came, people may have felt the same way?
Yeah, they did,
and it showed the unification of both, because like you was talking about, like the name of y'all show is Gods of the City. You had the unison with the 5 percenters. And they brought that information, talking about people like Rakim, Nas, and gave this information. It was, you get in both sides of the story, because remember, we talking about somebody, W.E.B. Du Bois, he spoke about the dichotomy of the black man and the souls, I think it's called The Souls of Black Folks by W.E.B. Du Bois. He talked about the dichotomy of the black man, where we caught up in this situation where we trying to live our culture from our groundation in Africa, but at the same time, in order to succeed in this nation, we have to assimilate. And assimilate to capitalism, which contradicts with our soul. We don't want to be capitalists, but in order to succeed in this situation, you have to be capitalist. Now we have to, this concept of individualism creates this thing where you have a purpose to use people instead of utilize people. We came from a society where we utilize one another, not use one another. And right now we using one another too much instead of utilizing. Each person here serves their purpose. There's no stupid person on this planet. Yeah. Everybody has some type of information that you don't know about. And they will be able to pass it on to you once you be able to communicate with them. And then people's energy sometimes may rub off wrong, and that first impression creates that issue and that drama when even if that does occur, they say first impressions, but then you still should be able to speak to that person like, yo, I wasn't really feeling that. We should be able to talk to each other like that before it gets to any point of violence. Like, we've seen generation and generations of curses passed down from one to the next within the last 5 decades, half a century, and we not breaking this curse. What are we doing to get ourselves to this next point of young entrepreneurs, young Black men? We seen how, literally, Black men are progressing to a whole different level right now on this planet where we really at a top tier point, but we don't, but because of the media, they're not saying these things about how we actually progressing. So we listening to the media and thinking we're not at that point. But we really are. I agree with you. Like, for example, y'all, could you imagine, this is a entrepreneur level, it's a podcast, and you getting information out there to these people, and there's other people doing other aspects of business. Like, we really entrepreneurs. We seen how our previous bigger brothers, uncles, grandfathers failed. We understood it, and we surpassing them, literally.
Yeah, I agree with you, because I feel like, me personally, I feel like a lot of people may be stuck in a state of mentality, like state of mind type stuff, I should say. It's like a state of mind where we always felt like we was always like the supreme victims, and we just don't want to get out that we got comfortable being the victims. You get where I'm coming from? Because I feel like in today's age, people will talk about us being victims. Like, let's say you probably got BLM and all these people, they talk about, oh yeah, we victims, but they're not mentioning that we're living in the days where you probably have more Black college graduates than ever, you know what I'm saying, including yourself. You get where I'm coming from? So it's like, they want it. I mean, I feel like maybe you're right. Because we spoke the other day and we was talking about like, culture vulture is not by race. It's definitely 90%
race.
98.
90.
And then it's 98.
10%.
And then 2% like people that take advantage of, you know what, we gotta keep the victim mentality because that's what sells. You get where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Like it's like sex sells. It's like the victim mentality sells also.
If I don't rap, right, and I don't know nothing about the drill culture, right, but I just see it's profitable and it's making money, and I go and I start doing that and making money off of it. You know what I mean called?
How?
A culture vulture. It's the same way they call academics a culture vulture.
Nah.
They call academics a culture vulture.
That doesn't make sense.
Why?
That definition means to me someone who's profiting off of, but see, I wouldn't even define hip hop. Like, it depends on how you define culture. Hip hop was...
Culture's us.
But how could you call a white person a culture vulture when this whole shit was helped funded by a white person?
That's why.
That's what I'm saying.
They
like,
only
it
funded
depends
it.
on how
they
you
don't create it though. See, we create it, and then they wait. It's like what we said earlier. When they see, like, we could create anything, and then doesn't mean that a white person is going to swoop in and put us on. Correct? Am I lying? Or am I wrong?
No, it's theirs. It was for the urban children.
So if we create it, and then now they pull up to the ghetto, and they're like, hold on. 10,000, 20,000 people is loving this. I'm going to fund this because I'm the funder. You know what I'm saying? You have to be realistic though. You know what I'm saying? I got the money, so I could do whatever I want with y'all because y'all broke. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, when they start waving the dollar in front of us, and we're going to take to it because we're broke, we're hungry. Like, this is what a culture vulture is. Oh, you know what? Y'all got this. Y'all got a huge following. You know what I'm saying? Just like you could have a huge following on the roster tip. And then now somebody from another culture might say, oh, you got to use...
They was calling Drake, right, for doing reggae music, a culture vulture. You understand me? Because that's not his culture.
I mean, I can understand that too.
But are you helping the people out within that culture? Because
see, that's the thing. If you helping the people out with that culture, it's still a thin line though, because just because you helping people and you putting $1 in their pocket does not make you not a culture.
I'm not. When I
think
say
a lot of white people is get caught up under the guise of culture appropriation.
Right. Exactly.
Culture vulture could be black or white, to me.
It's the same thing.
But you said culture appropriation and culture vulture is slightly
It's damn near
different.
the same thing. It's like when they had the Redskins and the Native Americans said they don't want that name. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, yo, dogs, y'all using our stuff to make y'all money, but y'all not giving us back nothing.
But we the real natives anyway. Africans was here from a long time, so that's a whole contradictory.
See, look, now y'all want to take their joint now. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, they
Y'all
took
got-
the we was the
we gotta let
Kemites and
people have their own joint.
the Kemites and the Kushites came here over to the so-called Americas from a long time. So
Yo, this dude is a fake roster right here too.
Nah, it's us.
Yo, he's a roster with no dreads. You heard? He's like, yes. What do you
No,
mean?
I'm saying
Yes?
that's us.
Huh. Everybody could be native to the land, but we're talking about. Well, I don't want to.
No, I'm talking about when he said the original. I said us, not the. We are the original natives. You understand me? The black man.
we came over here, settled from a long time. Like when they said they brought
Before
over
the
all these-
Indians.
yeah,
The black
so-called
man.
Indians.
The black man was here before them.
How?
Do your history.
That's
man.
not true. That's not true.
Yeah,
That's
we
not
came
true.
over here from a long time on boat. If you get on a boat from a certain point in Africa, that current will naturally take you to the so-called West. They'll naturally take you over here, and we've been doing that. We've been taking that natural current with no sail. You don't even need a sail. You just get in. Like they just did something where they left. I forgot where the boat departed from, and I think it ended up in Norway or something like that. 400 something days after. They just did that. There's natural currents in this planet that will take you from one hemisphere to the next. So we've been understood this. Columbus's the person that navigated his boat was of
black guy.
African descent.
Yeah.
You look in his diaries. We've been had this information. We've been had this knowledge.
That's who showed Columbus where to go.
Go exactly. But then, like he said,
The captain
he was so stupid.
yeah.
He called them Indians, and even Indians come from Kush. You understand what I'm saying? That's why you have the so-called strand called Kush, because the Kushites went to India, and that's why you have the Ganges River.
So
Because it was a king from Ethiopia named Ganji.
Now you getting deep on me. So that's where the strand Kush come from the Kushites.
The Hindu Kush region, because it's in Islam. I believe it's called the green man in Islam. Even in the scripture, they tell you Jesus. They said Jesus turned wine into water, but it contradicts itself because Jesus wasn't even his name. It was Yahshua, and he didn't turn wine into water. The same word for Hebrew that means consume is for drinking, smoking, and eating. It just means to consume. But they said he was a Nazarite. They called him Jesus of Nazareth. And in the book of Numbers, it tells you if you dedicate your life to God, you grow locks. So that's the purpose of growing locks. And they, obviously they show you a picture of Jesus as a white man. He has long hair and a beard.
Who the Caesar dude, the
Caesar.
Italian guy.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a false image because
Yeah.
he really had locks and a beard. So that shows you that.
Bogart Caesar or something.
Caesar. Exactly. So it tells you, it shows you right there.
I knew it already.
that
though.
he didn't drink because it says you take that vow, you don't drink, and he didn't turn it. He smoked what they call today ganja, but it's really the healing of the nation.
And we are the original Hebrews.
Exactly.
Yo, I'm getting schooled over here, guys.
Nah, we are though.
God's in the city, but it's never too late. You're never too old to learn something.
The black man is the original.
Although I know a lot of these things, but I think I didn't understand the actual meaning behind these things. You hear it, just because you hear something and you feel like, yo, I heard it before, doesn't mean you actually know it. But I guess y'all really breaking it down to me. So I'm gonna ask you this: does like all the knowledge that you acquired between your book knowledge and then of course the culture knowledge, does that all come off in your music, or you just try to keep your music in a certain way because you know what I'm saying? You know how society is.
I want people to understand that we are like I was talking about, especially right now, currently, because my music changed and it progressed. Right now, contemporary, I want people to see where we came from, where we lacked at, and where we gotta
before
go.
you continue, so you say it changed in the progress. Would you say you were more ignorant back then and now you're a little more calmer?
Ignorant in the aspect where I knew I wasn't at my best potential. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't a recording artist. So now I transitioned more and more and got better and better. Back then, I ignorant as in anybody's ignorant in their younger days. We don't know, you know what I'm saying, like what we're supposed to know. As time goes, if you're paying attention, your mind is gonna grow.
Our frontal lobe don't really develop until like we like 25.
30, even sometimes 30. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like we get that right to passage and like that age.
I'm just saying.
This nigga right here. Son, this nigga knows how to, he's like a lizard. He knows how to transform into anything the guests are on, cuz. I never seen this before.
He's dealing with the pineal gland and all this different.
Yo, so, that's crazy. But so let me ask you this though. So all right, you got all this knowledge. Like, I have to get back to the knowledge because we on knowledge. You know what I'm saying? You even got your pretty sure you should go over there because you a roster too. That ass. But you know what I'm saying? You got all this knowledge and everything like that. And you know, there's a lot of people that says like, not for nothing, we just had a guest where he was like, yo, the music is the devil. So why would you pursue the music industry as far as like when you know it might be like a devilish way to the music industry?
Because music obviously is incorporated with the Most High. That's why they say so-called Lucifer, Satan, he was the...
No, not just music. I'm talking about like the industry itself.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying. It came from the creation of the Most High. And Satan, he was the light bearer and the organizer. He was in control of the music. So he took that and he came and from Seth, it's in the book of Apocrypha where they try to take the people from the mountaintop. Like the Hebrews was on the mountaintop and the children of Seth was below. It's like a information where you can take it and relate it to your life. You know what I'm saying? And you on the mountaintop, that music can bring you below to a lower level, a lower vibration where that's not really your level unless you accept it. And once you understand that, are you going to allow them to control you to serve their purpose or are you going to serve the Most High's purpose? Now, we live in a system where in order to get to people that would never receive you, you have to be able to communicate with them. Like Malcolm X, he was very prolific with his words, one of the astounding with English language, but he was able to communicate and get across his information and message to people. Same thing with Martin Luther King. You could speak, I could speak and use all kind of words, but are you really going to comprehend what I'm trying to get across to you? It doesn't make sense if I'm not trying to look like the smartest person. I'm not the smartest person. You understand what I'm saying? So I want my information to get across. So I will incorporate ignorance because ignorance is true too, because ignorance happens every day. So I'll incorporate.
Ignorance is part of our culture.
Yeah, it's like the yin and the yang. You have both sides of the whole situation. It's that dichotomy. So I'm gonna incorporate both, but I'm gonna make sure where it's at least 51% of the more positive than the negative. You know what I'm saying?
All right, yeah. So let me ask you this question. I gotta bring it back to a little ignorance right now, if you don't mind. So, all right, let's wow, y'all funny as hell. But all right, if we get to the with everything that's going on and everything, especially in today's light, you know what I'm saying? You guys being Hoover, right? With the situation being Hoover, and then you know the things happen with like Pop Smoke. Did you ever have to run into a situation, or maybe like not even a situation, but do you ever get to hear like, yo, y'all Hoovers kill Pop Smoke type stuff?
Not at all. Not at all. And like I said, I'm in the same situation in the floors. I used to teach Pop Smoke some of his friends when I was in my 11. I was a teacher, and
you was a teacher and all that?
I was a teacher at my 11.
He did a lot, man. Young legend.
I never ran into. I'm always out there, and it's not like that. You know what I'm saying? So
no, but I'm saying after Pop Smoke passing away, because you know the tensions got high. Everybody's like, yo, Hoover killed him. And I'm saying because I'm from like the gang lifestyle my damn self, and there was a time I was looking like, yo, how come the Hoovers are not beefing with these guys? Because the guys are not beefing with the Hoover. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like the Hoovers, like, quote unquote, kill Pop Smoke out there in LA. And usually that type of stuff, like,
it depends on what fraction of the Hoovers, though, because, right, ain't Hoover still part of the C?
No.
Oh, then
And stuff with that part. What are you doing? You rolling up?
no, just talk, bro.
See, that's what happens when the roster's in the building. Now you want to be rolling up. Play the Bob Marley in the background.
Talk,
bro.
man. I don't even got my weed on me. I gotta go get it.
All right, man. Like I was saying, man. Before we left off or whatever. With the whole situation with Pop Smoke passing away, with the Hoovers and everything, did y'all ever feel like you have to feel the pressure of people out here like, yo, Pop Smoke got? You know what I mean? Because usually that starts these type of wars out there. You know what I'm saying?
Pop Smoke was a great young man. He had a bright future, and he had nothing but the world ahead of him. So,
no, we know that.
Situation.
I'm talking about as far as like being from the orange side. Like, did you ever feel like New Yorkers coming at you like, yo, bro, yo, Pop Smoke ended up that? Because like I said, it usually starts wars like that. You know what I'm saying? It might be one or two people that cause it, but it usually start wars. Like, did you ever have to feel that type of pressure coming from NYC type joint?
Nah, that's ignorance. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's ignorance. So, nah, like, Pop Smoke was a young man that had a bright future, was a mogul, possibly maybe in a decade, he might have been a billionaire. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? He had a great potential behind him. He had a lot of people behind him. And it was an unfortunate situation. And I would have just loved to see how he would have maximized his potential.
Panned out, yeah.
Yeah, like I would have loved to see that. You know what I'm saying? He was ahead of his time. And unfortunately, people like that always leave the earth early. You same thing with Pac, Biggie, Big L, Nipsey. You have from a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? So only God knows why that happened. And everybody can have their own opinion about it and speculate. Like right now, all this stuff going on, saying Shorty set him up. Like it's so much going on. You know what I'm saying? So.
And the funny thing, you bring that up, since they're on the subject, we gotta touch on it, right? Because Shorty recently posted that is Mikey D set him up. You know what I'm saying? But I don't feel like Mikey D could set him up because like I said, I know the law. You know what I'm saying? Even if you want to say I know it from First 48, but I know the law. You know what I'm saying? Because I watched a lot of First 48. There's no way that certain people would be like, you know, exonerated from the situation or clear from the situation, because once the police get involved in some like a high crime, because what happened is those families could sue. Like, you get them coming from?
Civil suit?
They could sue the city or whatever. They could sue a lot of people. So people try to really, the police try to clear certain things up. Do you feel like maybe like the Shorty had something to do with it, or they say Mikey D has something to do with it?
I have no idea, and I'm not in tune with none of that. I'm not privy to none of that.
I'm saying you are Hoover.
What does that mean?
I'm joking.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that mean?
I mean, I gotta be honest, because you know that's how it's gonna be. Like, even we doing this interview right now, there's people that's gonna ask me, "Oh, they Hoovers. Why you didn't ask them this and that, and third?" I have to ask you because you get I'm coming from. Because whether you believe it or not, when we do drop these interviews, people coming on inbox like, "Yo, son, why you didn't ask him this?" Yeah. So I just try to make sure I cover the route. It's like I said,
respectable,
earlier,
understandable.
Some people might be like, "Yo, they call it a devil's advocate or whatever," and some earlier said nobody's gonna advocate for the devil. So I like that term too.
Some niggas say it's dry snitching too.
You know I'm saying, yeah. No, that's not dry snitching. My whole thing is about like, it's like, do you feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want you to say it is. I just say, would you feel like, because it's like saying like, could it lead towards this or could it lead towards that? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I don't know nothing about that. I was not there. And like I said,
in true Rasta fashion, man don't know nothing, you know.
No,
that's not his people's. That's like from a different faction.
I'm myself, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not here to even, like, it's no disrespect. You're
not speaking for them.
I'm here to discuss my music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know nothing about that.
That's the thing. See, sometimes people think they're gonna come and discuss music, but you know, when you got ties and you got certain things to you, like I say, we could try to be as positive as we can, but you know, when it's like I said, when the people's gonna, it's like by now I know what the people's gonna ask me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but even if the people asking you already
like I said, you don't have to answer though.
No,
see,
I
that's
don't.
The thing.
But the thing is, my answer is the truth. It's like
I always tell people, like, you don't have to answer. You can always tell me, like, yo, dog, I don't want to answer that question. Next. You're not obligated to answer just because you're doing the interview.
I mean, even that response is
I'm
an
just
answer.
obligated to ask.
Even saying moving on, that's an answer. And I don't know what happened, bro. I'm out here at the same time. As a matter of fact, it's 2 days? 2 days from 2-year anniversary. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
No, I only bring this up now because she, like I told him, she decided to come out of nowhere and just start pointing fingers. And I'm like, bro, it's been 2 years. She's basically a nobody. And now she's realizing.
Not a nobody.
Huh?
She's not a nobody. She's not a nobody. She was in the house. She's the most important person. If she said she was in that room when them niggas came in there and it was her and Pop in that room, and it's only Mike D and a white boy in the house with Pop, she's one of the most important people in that house.
I'm about to bring you to come sit over there because he needs to sit over there. That's what I'm saying. We're about to interview
and
these
I'm saying,
ladies,
listen, and what I told him and shit, you understand me? She's coming out there and saying Mike D has something to do with it. And I just feel like she's just deflecting blame off herself and blaming somebody else and shit. But that's something that Tom will have to tell me. You know what I mean? That's another discussion for another day. But at the end of the day,
it's who didn't know the truth. And the Most High ultimately is in control of the situation. There's a reason why he influenced, you have to understand, he influenced a whole generation. Right now, you talking about kids, like I got 4 children. My son just got his hair braided yesterday. He go to school, everybody's like, oh, you got Pop Smoke braids. He influenced a whole generation or two. So you have to understand, like, everything happened for
my
a
little
reason.
daughter was born after he, well, I can't say that, right? When he passed, 2020?
Yeah.
All right, my little daughter was 2 years old. My little daughter knows who's Pop Smoke, though.
Was it 2020? Was it COVID-19? Yeah, it's 2020. Yeah. I mean,
That's like regular cornrow. Cornrows come from when we was dealing with in Kemet, where the cornrows represented the crops that were growing. Even over here, it was like pathways that we could take.
Wait.
Imagine.
I'm getting schooled here. Cornrows represent the crops we were growing.
Yeah, that's why you have the name cornrows. It come from the crops that we were growing.
Corn. Oh, yeah. Listen,
So,
man. Don't look at me like I'm dumb, because I think I'm smart. That was dope right there. If that's cuz, if that's the truth, I just got schooled, cuz.
So you talking about now? They talk about Pop Smoke braids. So it's heavily influenced, but I'm
you
not
know
like
what?
just
It
truth.
makes sense, because even if you got the side braids, people are gonna say Pop Smoke braids. So that means definitely back in the days, because we have no internet. If they're gonna say corn rows,
It relates to the time.
It has to relate to whatever
time,
the name,
the culture
of
at the time,
because most of these things are named after whatever it is.
the culture at the time. Yeah,
Gangster, yo, listen, man. You see, this is why you can't just have ignorant niggas up here, cuz. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta get schooled, and I hope y'all gonna understand this when y'all see this. You get in school too, bro. You run around here with cornrows, they even know that joint come from the cornrows. You know what I'm saying? Literally. Holla at your boy. And think to my boy King Kush, because yo, I'm pretty sure there's no guest I would have brought up here that would even put us onto this, guys. All right? So next time you get cornrows, just know what it is. I'm going to get fresh cornrows tomorrow, just for that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. So name of your project, bro.
Now I'm not putting out. I put out a last one. It was called High Definition. It was 8 songs on there, and I did a tour with more bookings from city to city, 5 cities in 5 nights. And my next thing I'm gonna put out is a single. I'm not gonna put out any more official albums. Excuse me, that was a mistake I made.
Why you say that you're not gonna put out no more official albums?
Until I get to that point where I want to get. I was watching a lot of information from 50 and Nipsey said it. He was like, 50 told him like, yo, it's a good thing you didn't put that out as an album. You know what I'm saying? Because that would be your leverage when you go to the table. So it's not gonna be what you want until you have that machine behind you. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not putting that out. I'm gonna put out a single. And that single is gonna get me to that.
But
point.
you can still put out a mixtape though.
No, mixtape. Yes, my next mixtape is gonna be like I was saying. It's gonna be.
No, what I'm saying.
Yeah,
what I'm
stretch
saying.
out, man.
Yeah,
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 stretch
we
out.
good.
So you don't mind?
Nah, what you mean? Like, what you mean?
It's all in the gas, guys.
Listen,
You know you are guest, so you're the guy to see the house, so I gotta make sure you good.
it's ways to work the system, right? So instead of calling something an album, you could actually, and you don't, if you don't want to call it a mixtape, but you still want to have it on streaming service, just call it a project. That's just the way this thing's working nowadays.
Call it a project.
A project. That's just how niggas.
Yeah,
think.
but then even still within that, if
High definition project.
Yeah,
High
it's
definition too,
High
project.
definition is out already. I got 7 songs.
No, what
on
I'm
it.
saying is if you
8?
rename
Yeah, I
it
think
like
it was
that,
7,
it makes
yeah.
it like
7.
yo.
I think it was
You
7.
Title
You're
took off. If you said 8, Title took a song off.
right. Yeah, you're right. It's 7.
No, but what Cuz
I was
pointed out
supposed to
is
put
true.
that last one, but I didn't. That's
Oh,
why.
okay.
Because you know why? I feel like what you're saying is as well. I mean, whatever 50 Cent said that you did, because I didn't see it, but what you're saying is kind of true. It's a fact, because if you put it out as an album and then you try to go to a label and then it didn't sell or it didn't go where you want it to be, let's say it only sold 10,000. So you're still independent. It's good for you as independent wise, but maybe a label would be like 10,000 as an album. Oh, that's not good. But 10,000 as a mixtape sounds better though. Like, you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, but are you selling it as via streaming? Are you selling it via vinyl CDs? All that make a difference too, because once you have that barcode stamp on there and then you move in the units yourself, that's a different aspect of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, now they see the hustle behind it. Are you streaming it? Your streaming is based off of your social network on social media, really. You know what I'm saying? Your influence via there. So whether it depends on how you move in these units. So
yeah, you were telling me about how your social media got taken down. You want to break it down for the people, because a lot of people may not understand. They might try to go for the clout wave and not understand. Not to say you went for the clout wave, but you were just doing you. And I'm pretty sure you just learned about the community guidelines. Like I went through the same thing too. It's just that they so-called they I guess they gave me a blah. Like they was like, yo, we gonna let you rock, but they gave me a whole they gave me a whole 90 days ban one time. Yeah, 90 days I can't post nothing.
I never received that.
You know what I'm saying? But you said you had got your joint canceled.
I've had 8 videos.
Uh-huh.
And it was at 743,000 streams with those 8 videos.
Cultural.
And from that point, it got to a point where the last video I put out, it was very graphic, we could say, for the least of the terms. You know what I'm saying? It was like it was turned up. And from that, it got me blocked. But then when I contacted them, I kept getting the same generic response. It was like, well, what is the issue? Because if the issue is this one video, my whole page shouldn't be taken down for that one video. I've never had any strikes, anything against me, never got any notifications for that. So you shouldn't take down my whole page just for one video. It should just be like, okay, you want me to take down that video? I'll take it down. And even within that, my instinct told me YouTube is gonna riff about it. I should just throw it on WorldStar. But it was just like, at the heat of the moment, I'm just
ready. You was ready for it.
Yeah, my agenda is this one song I'm gonna put out. It's a reggae dancehall song. And then from there, people are gonna see what I have planned for the future. So that's what I'm really was dealing with at the time. My homie, Minnie C, shout out to Minnie, came up from Houston, Goat Life Entertainment. She came up from Houston. She came up to Brooklyn and we did that video and with Floss. Shout out to LaFloss Marv. He came out, we did that video with Floss. I did that video with Floss, and then right after I did the video with Minnie. We did 2 videos in one day. And
being a roster, like how does the roster community respond, or not just the roster, just the Caribbean community, period, respond to your music?
When I perform live, that's when I see the real reaction. And most people tell me they prefer to see me live than in person because now they hear my voice over
the
it.
stream, you saying?
Yeah, like stream or CDs, I still, you know what I'm saying, deal with all stream, CDs, whatever. So they see me from then till now, and it's like they feel me more when they see me in person. You know what I'm saying? Like they feel me when they hear me over the recording, but when they see me in person, they really attract. Exactly.
What you enjoy more, recording or the performing part?
You mean me personally as a recording artist or performer? I prefer performing.
Okay.
It goes back to the foundation where I said where I've had a situation in parties where the electricity went and now we got to contact the owner of the building or the manager that's there. And now we got to figure out how we get the fuse box started again. In the meantime, I'm controlling the whole party, you know what I'm saying? Keeping everybody lit for 10, 15 minutes, call and response back to you know what I'm saying, like African Foundation where it's like call and response. That's how you keep the crowd engaged. And once you're able to apply this to the music, you see the whole groundation of hip hop. And I just utilize all aspects of it
on the stage.
And I prefer it that way because you get the actual feeling and vibration from the people. I would rather go that direction than any other way.
The payoff of your hard work, basically.
Yeah, and it manifests. That's what you want. That's how you really feel the people. You know what I'm saying? We dealing with social media now where somebody could throw up a video. It's easy to take several takes.
And we don't really give a fuck.
It's easy to take several takes and then I put something out in it could be the 10th or it could be the 1st. It could be the 1st, it could be the 10th. It could be
the 10th take, but they don't know.
And they see it and then they relate to it and that's it. But it's harder to actually be around a crowd that doesn't understand you and doesn't know you. Even like what you talk about just now, like, and they feel some type of stigma against you. And then when they really get to know you, they see what it is. You understand what I'm saying? And people vibe and they connect with you. So it's just, you have to be able to communicate and relate to people and people feel you for who you are.
So you spoke about you got to drop a single instead of the album. What single you plan on dropping?
It's a reggae single, and I ain't gonna say the name.
I mean, I knew it was gonna be
it's
a
a
reggae
whole anticipation I'm building up.
Unless you was gonna be on your 2 Chainz joint because you fake got the 2 Chainz joint going too. No, I'm saying not you faking. I'm saying this is coming from because we living in the world. I mean, today is society where we use these type of words.
Yeah, but words mean everything. That's like you manifesting it into reality. When
all right, so I won't say you fake. You kind of remind me of a two chain type of person where you may be able to get off with being having the dreads and everything because it's still a little. I mean, it's not like you just got the hard dreads where people are like, yeah, that's a roster. You know what I'm saying? They could be like, yeah, that's an artist. That could be a cool dude rocking now or whatever the situation might be. You get where I'm coming from? So with the I don't want to keep saying 2 Chainz, but with the look that you got going on as for yourself, which is yourself, do you feel like you could brand both of them together and just make a different type of hit? And it doesn't have to be reggae?
Well, Rastafari can never be branded as a monetary gain. It's not there for monetary. It's spiritual. It's from the creation of earth. So it's not there for monetary gain. That's not my purpose. That's why I don't go into that realm too much, because of what I'm discussing in my music right now. Like, when I get to that next stage of my life, you're going to see in the future. That's when I'm going to be able to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So Rastafari is not for brand. As far as anything else, though, it's capitalism. You just got to capitalize over the situation and make sure your whole community is understanding.
I want to ask you this: Is Rastafarians against capitalism though? Like making money off these type of things?
It's not against capitalism. It's understanding what capitalism is and how you utilize it towards your community. Because capitalism creates individualism. Individualism creates jealousy and envy. And that's the problem. That's what, like I said, we start using each other instead of
So let me ask you a question. So if capitalism creates all of that, what would create something that would fit into the
moral theocracy? That's what Rastafari discusses. Moral theocracy. You're dealing with the creation. We all are all gods, but there's only one creator, and we got to stop worshiping the creation and start worshiping the creator. And he gives us this information that we need to create the proper vibration for us to manifest as one, as brothers, and utilize each other, not use each other, utilize each other. To the point where
I don't want to cut you off, but I want everybody to understand. I got the same outfit on, so both of the interviews got done on the same day, right? I feel like I'm getting schooled today. You know what I'm saying? I agree with some because I felt certain ways, but then I feel like I'm learning new things, though. You get where I'm coming from? It's like a lot of people think an old dog can't learn new tricks, because as you can see, I'm an old dog, but an old dog is learning new tricks today, bro. Like, so break that down for me one more time, because I know it's on camera, but I just want to hear it again.
Capitalism creates a mind frame where we're using each other.
Because I used to really be on like, yo, what is wrong with capitalism? We supposed to capitalize off of things. But the way you're breaking it down makes me feel like, hold on, man. Maybe we need to have what's it called?
What? Capitalism is a state of society's formation where, like, political wise,
it's like we're using each other.
It's politics, you know what I'm saying?
And
like,
instead of utilizing it, there you go. You see?
Like, I don't get into the politics of anything because that's not my position. You understand what I'm saying? I'm a person that's a people person. I'm a person that's gonna be there for people. You ask anybody about me, they'll tell you I share job openings. I tell people, yo, here, go do this.
But will your community agree with you with the way you think, though, as well?
The community will agree with me?
Your community of Rastafarians. Some people may feel like, oh, no, we don't have to share everything. Some people may feel like, yo, we may have to use somebody for something.
You talking about the Rasta community?
Yeah.
We don't even say Rasta is like almost a derogatory term. It's the Rastafari community because you're dealing with the title and the name of the title is Rasta.
So saying Rasta is a derogatory term?
It kind of is. It's
we
like,
have to use the whole thing?
Yeah, it's Rasta. You are as a Rastafari. It's like derogatory. You don't. Rasta is like, it's not. It's almost as derogatory. Like some people, even a lot of people from back in the days, they would say dread is kind of derogatory because you mean you scared of my appearance. So you wouldn't even really want to say that. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, because dread means dreadful. When they brought this so-called slaves here, according to the textbooks, they said they cut off their hair. One of the first things they did, because their hair became maddened and they call it dreads.
I hate to stop it. I'm really getting schooled here. Dread is a derogatory term?
It's not the thing, it's not the nomenclature that we would use to identify ourselves in connection with the Most High.
Dread that's why I would say I and I.
I and I, they say there's no I in we, but I and I. It's like you and I become one. I and I become one. And that's the power of the three.
Yeah, I grew up in Flatbush.
I and I means it's you, shit. I, and the creator. I and I. It's you,
I and the creator.
You
and the creator.
And who brought us together is the creator. That's the three.
Gangsta, yo. Yeah. Yo, my fault. That was probably listen, man. I'm from Flatbush and I'm used to certain ways. And like I said, I never really sat down with somebody that's really deep in their culture to really explain to me, because I just used to always think. I'm gonna be honest. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are too. You think of dread, so I don't want to be offensive or nothing, Rasta or whatever, you always think about bud, peace, culture is lit, and you know them dudes be on the, you know what I mean? They don't play around too much.
Yeah.
But to me, I feel like today I'm learning a whole bunch of new things, cuz. And I've been growing up in Flatbush all my life.
Yeah.
How come y'all never told me this when I was out there?
Well, it depends on who you's into it.
Because Pre already knows. Pre, you want to go sit over there? Because it seems like you already know already.
Because it's a great thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, and at the same time, I wouldn't even say I myself is an exemplary representation of Rastafari. I have my personal issues, and I'm not representing it in the most best way represented. You know what I'm saying? So I can speak on it, but I will give you the truth. But don't look at my life as that life as like, you know what I'm saying? Even there's many people out there that's famous that you see and you don't know them. And if you're not in tune, you would swear they hardcore, but you don't know them. But at the end of the day, the Most High give everybody their purpose, whether you Rasta or not. But within the Rastafari community, He give everybody their purpose, and you have to make sure when He give you that information, you have to do that and manifest it for people to comprehend.
You sent me 2 songs today, so what we going with this 2 songs? Are we going to some reggae joint, or you going to do some?
The next one, the one I have in plan is a dancehall, and
you sent me 2. So
I sent you 2. The 2 today is discussing the current environment of what's going on.
Reggae or rap?
It's both hip hop. It's both music. I don't want to put myself in a category. I do all genres. So it's what you want to call it, because it's how you relate to it. You know what I'm saying? I myself won't give it a genre. It's what you're the one that's making it an edible. It's food for thought. So however you want to eat it, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? You give it the title that you want to give it. But I just call it music.
Let me ask you a question. In the name, you don't want to give me the name of your new projects, correct?
Well, I don't. But the next project, I said I don't have a specific title. It's dealing with contemporary instrumentals and old school so-called boom bop instrumentals, and then in the meantime, I have hip hop dancehall hip hop. Huh?
From the high definition joint.
Yeah, people would immediately classify as like a hip hop dancehall song, but the instrumental and the lyrics is like all genres combined in one. And you'll see when I put that single out, it's just a perfect combination that exemplifies who I am as an artist, as a recording artist, to what I'm trying to portray.
So I'm gonna ask you this: the freestyle you're gonna do for us, which is basically sometimes a freestyle, sometimes a performance song. It's just all love. As we doing it for the culture. What are we doing today?
What do you mean?
Like what you gonna do for us today out of the 2 songs? I didn't have the chance to listen to them because we
I only sent you the instrumental, so I didn't send you the actual song. So even if I just sent you the instrumental, but it's discussed. The first
where
one,
we going? I want to know.
The first one is discussing what's going on in society, specifically in Brooklyn today, with the environment and the drill culture. So I would classify. If you want to, the first thing that people might immediately grasp to as a specific genre would be hip hop and rap, like boom bap. And then the second one would be very similar, but it's more on discussing. Excuse me. I created that in like the second song I created. Both of these songs I actually created in like less than half an hour. Like I just heard the instrumental, wrote these lyrics, and both of them less than half an hour. And the first one is talking about, like I said, the current environment. The second one is discussing my mother, the mother of my children, and my children, my daughter specifically. So it's just giving that feeling of raw natural talent and the truth about a person's life and how people can relate to everyday situations.
The one thing I want you to break down to people is because sometimes people feel like I said, I hate to use it because after something schooled me on it, I don't want to use it no more. There's the advocate. I'll just say the advocate, right? Can we say that we're gonna get some at least of like some knowledge of what you're trying to break down to the people out of the music?
Out of which music?
Either or that you bring in today. Like, am I gonna be able to say, yo, bro, I understand where you're coming from. Not it's not like about, because me personally, like I always say, I like gangster music. I like the ignorant stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's for some reason it touches my soul. But there are things like there are times when I hear other songs and I'm like, damn, this shit touching my soul too. I don't wanna, damn, I might shed a tear right here. This shit's too real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I wanna understand like what you gonna bring for us today, is it gonna be something similar to it?
Yeah, like the first song I'm discussing like how I'm fed up of my people's having to print up RIP shirts. I'm tired of seeing vigils. I'm tired of seeing children, like looking in the eyes of children, knowing that their father just got killed. You understand what I'm saying? Like that shit is personal to me. You know what I'm saying? Like looking in the eyes of a child, knowing that their parent just died. Like
that's just crazy.
Yo, what can you actually tell a child? Knowing that their father just passed.
It's crazy you say that because you see me, I guess when I was younger, my peoples died when we was younger. The hardest thing for me is, a lot of people may not understand. I'm gonna let y'all know understand right now. The hardest thing for me is looking in the eyes of a mother when she loses a child.
Of course.
Because a a guy could be 35, 40 years old. And believe me, if a mother loses that guy right there, bro, she is devastated. All right. And to hear her say why, I always say this. There's something about that when she says why, you almost feel guilty.
I seen a 70-year-old lady lose her 40-something-year-old son.
And she's like, why me?
Like she gave up on life.
It's like, why it has to be me that lost my son? And I don't want to blame the mothers or anything, but in a way you kind of start to feel like, damn, she might be saying like, why it had to be him? Why it couldn't have been you? And I felt like that before because I lost my friends at a young age. So I'm like, damn, bro. I mean, I'm not taking it against the mother, but that's what fuels us to be like, man, we going out there, going crazy. But anyway, man, like I said, man, let me know. You ready to get in this freestyle, bro?
I was born ready, man.
All right, man. Yo, listen, man, I'm going to be honest with you. Once I hear the reggae tunes, I'm from Flatbush, I'm in there. I'm jumping in there with you, bro. Don't let me mess you up or nothing. I'm just gonna bust my little dance.
I ain't doing no reggae today. Well, you might hear a little patois and things like that.
That's all I need, baby.
As far as the reggae, I ain't doing no reggae.
You can say that's all I need.
I mean, why we can't have fun with our guests sometimes? Yo, dog, when Dogs was spitting earlier, and it felt like he was gonna cry. I'm like, damn, son, don't cry. Cause if you cry, I'm gonna cry too, cuz you talking some deep shit. Sometimes it's the vibe, cuz. So if the cuz hit me with the vibe and I'm like, hold on, we in Flatbush right now? I mean, you know, we in Manhattan right now, but if I hear like some Flatbush joint, I'm in there, man.
Nigga said all I need, Monet and Davis.
Healing Toe, Bruck Up. I was there, cuz. So, all right, man.
I knew you was one of them dancing.
No, I wasn't. Yo, come on. You see how P tried to come for my neck? Do y'all see how P tried to come for my neck, bro? Nigga said
Brooklyn.
Dollar parties every Friday. You heard? Come on, I'm from
my
that
son
era.
was on Flex and Brooklyn doing a Bruck Up.
Yo, I didn't do that. But I am not ashamed of my age because I got a lot of.
We was out there. We was outside.
Yeah, I'm coming from. So if I was there at Dollar Ramas every Friday, you know what I'm saying? High school Dollar Ramas. If you was there, you was there.
Shot roller skating rink.
You was never
Empire
there.
Days.
I went to the skating ring a few times, but after it got shot up a few times, I'm like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
And this the guy that called me the soca guy.
Soca king right here.
Look
at him. Look at him. He was just, he know more reggae stuff than me, bro.
Anyway, you see all the flossy heads in the arc.
Thank you. You heard? Talk to him, man. You know what I'm saying? Talk to him, man. And he was there.
I was ignorant. I didn't listen to that shit.
Yo, whatever, man. Yo, you could just look at Pri and know he was.
No, you could just look at Pri and knew he listened to Common.
He was a pretty boy, man. Yeah, he was a pretty boy.
Oh, you know him? I'm joking, God. Yo, we have fun here, you know what I'm saying?
Mana Gallus, you know what I'm saying?
Sometimes we have fun here, it just be fun, God. I don't want you to feel. Yo, you know him, nigga? I don't even know that nigga, son. I be with him all the time, and every time we interview a guest, I be like, yo, Pri needs to sit over there, cuz.
Yeah, I mean,
you know
listen, man.
I'm about to start. You know what?
Shout out to the flight school, too.
Yo, when
facts,
the guys bring their entourage, I'm going to start having the entourage.
My homie Jendai, shout out to Jendai, too.
Yeah, man. Like, I always just think Jendai could be potentially the best Crip rapper, but he be playing around with his craftsmanship.
That's how when I came back from Philly to the floors, it was Jendai and I. You know what I'm saying? Like we was with the homie and with Artistry. And
who, Jendai?
Yeah,
I'm bugging. I was lost just now.
Yeah,
That's about Jendai.
Yeah, Jendai.
I thought y'all was talking about like the roster group.
Yeah, but Jendai. Well, you know more about the roster group than me. You from Flatbush?
First of all, Jendai is nice. You know what I'm saying? I gotta give it to him. You know what I'm saying? Although Jendai needs to stop getting at the drill homies. But you know what I'm saying? I'm an old head too, so I like drill music. So I don't give a fuck what y'all.
So I like all types of music. So okay, this nigga got y'all thinking I don't like drill music. Let me tell you
niggas
something.
don't like drill music.
Let me tell you
y'all.
something. I just don't fucking knock the niggas that motherfucking go on the internet every day talking about smoking on men. We don't smoke on men, bro.
Your dogs, they're not smoking on men.
That's some gay shit.
Yo, dog, this nigga trying to get it. Yo, cuz, my nigga, how you expect this?
What do you mean? Smoking
Yo,
on men.
dog,
Smoking
they are smoking on men,
bro.
They smoking on
I can't
dead
never look at
homies.
another man and say I smoke on that nigga. Let me tell you something. I want y'all internet niggas to know. Smoking on Tuka got started by his own friends. Them niggas was watching How High.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of How High, when the nigga dig the nigga up from the grave and smoke the nigga to get smart,
To get the answers.
them niggas was motherfucking doing it as to represent they man. Chief Keef was beefing with them niggas, and he was their ops, and he made a song, and he said smoking on Tuka as a disrespect.
And that's
but
what
they've been saying it.
Yo,
as-
stop, slow down. I want you to slow down.
High grades get
And
you high.
that's how smoking on the dead homies began. I ain't gonna lie. You know that's my son Pre.
Red and meth.
He's a little educated on the bullshit. And that's the facts though, you know what I'm saying? But today, smoking on dead homies is a whole different
Nah, smoking
meaning.
on dead homies is a whole different meaning because the LGBT, ABCD,
It's an alphabet crew.
they made y'all think.
Yo,
it's
y'all
that.
really trying to get these videos banned, ain't y'all?
That's what I'm saying. Okay, you edit that. All I'm saying is smoking it. No man for smoke on mine.
we don't want that
for
type of smoke.
No man supposed to be smoking on men, bro.
Guys, y'all see what they did to Buju? That's Buju. Shaba Ranks, cuz.
And Buju. When
Shaba.
he came out, he couldn't perform.
It's Shaba though. That
could've
is-
said the-
boom bye, boom
Buju.
bye,
Buju.
boom bye.
That's
We ain't even
Buju.
gonna say the other one. Boom bye. Yo, cuz you can't play around with that army,
That's
cuz.
why when he came out, he couldn't perform it.
All right, so
No,
boom.
we're not playing around with the army. Let the
All
army
right, yo,
live.
listen, man. You know we got like this was a dope interview. You know what I'm saying today was a whole. I feel like today was a positive day. We had a good speaker, basically a hood mover, influencer. Then we had the Rastaman them, the rapper. I don't want to just label you as a Rastaman. You know what I'm saying? But the Rasta guy, my boy King
Rastafarian.
Kush. I'm trying to get to it.
Nah, no Rastafarian.
Yo, my boy
People
King.
not supposed. The only people that fear us is the Babylonian system. Though.
Yo, my
Everybody
boy
else
King
supposed to
Kush
love
broke
us.
it down
That's
for
the
me.
far. That's the
My
far.
boy broke it down for me on some real Flatbush joint, and from now on, listen, man. After I rewatch this interview, I'm gonna let y'all know right now, boy. Y'all can't tell me nothing, man. Between this interview and the last interview we had, y'all can't tell me nothing. I'm schooled. I just went to school just now. I learned everything. You know what I'm saying, but King Kush, before we leave, I want you to break it down for the people. How many degrees you have, what type of degrees you have, and tell the youth them that they shouldn't be ashamed to go to school, get their degree, and get their shit on, bro.
In that aspect, if I could do it all over again, I wanted to go to school to the College of Aeronautics in Queens and become a pilot or fix airplanes.
Yeah.
And then people told me, yo, you good in math, because I could have graduated high school a year early, and then I was playing ball in Canarsie. So they was like, break your classes up for your last year, and you could play ball your senior year. So I did that, and then while I was looking into that, people told me that, so I said, all right, I'm gonna go to college and do business. When I got to college to do business, I realized I had a 3.8 GPA and I wasn't getting any grants. I went to the grant department and scholarship department, and there were people that was donating money to the university with 2.8, 2.9 GPAs, getting these grants. And that inspired me now to change my major to Africana studies. And that gave me my whole groundation again, which my father always taught me about my culture and who I am. And then from there, I learned about W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington, where it was either you go to school to be a scholar or you go to school to learn a trade. And in this current times, I would say that specifically young black men need to go to school and learn a trade. University is like almost a gimmick. If you're not going to school for STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, or a lawyer, it's not even worth it. You're better off going to school, learning a trade, and that way you could go hands-on and you could take your skills and talents to anywhere in this planet, and you won't need to go and beg somebody for an opportunity. You just using yourself, your body as an instrument to benefit for your productivity, your family.
So that goes to say, I want to leave a last word. It's not just about knowledge in self. It's also about knowledge in the brain. You get where I'm coming from? So you want to learn knowledge of self. First of all, you got to be cultural, especially if you're one of us. You know what I'm saying? I might be light-skinned, but I'm going to let you know I might be the most, you know You know what I mean?
The nigga
Cultural
Wesley Snipes in the heart, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Straight up. All right, and then you gotta have the knowledge of self, which doesn't let you let that education get to your brain where you can't recognize your own people just because you feel like I have an education.
Somebody,
you know what I'm saying? So it's a thin line, but for the people them, you don't know what it is. And then, like I said, you could have a thin line with education. If you, like I said, when these 2 interviews drop, because I have to drop these interviews back to back so people could understand where we was at when we did
Black Future Month.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fact.
It's all culture.
Unfortunately, it was just a month. It's supposed to be, and that's Carter G. Woodson. Carter G. Woodson created, at first it was, I believe it was Black History Week. But now it's supposed to be taught every day. Like when I was teaching them same youth STEM in Mile 11 and Somers, they were some of the most advanced kids. Even shout out to the young homie Adonis. He locked up now. He got caught up. You know, I don't know where he at now, but I'd love to see him come home. He was a brilliant student. You know what I'm saying? That was one of the students I had where this kid didn't study.
But knew the work.
Didn't know, he didn't do any homework, no projects. But he's able to listen and grasp the information immediately and get a test. And he's
ace it.
Unbelievable.
I was one of those
but he
kids.
got caught up in the system.
I was about to use that and took my shit.
And believe he had to try to prove
I
himself.
literally was one of those kids, man. I remember I got picked off of truancy and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I never been in this class, nothing this shit. You know what I mean? So they threw me in the class and I had to take a test and shit. And I got the highest score out of everybody in the class and shit. So when they had a conference. They had a conference with my mom. It was like, yo, you got to do something with that kid, man.
Gaza
Like,
City is more than just a brand. It's just a lifestyle, bro.
It's a brain.
You see, me personally, I feel the same way because I was just chilling one day. You know what I'm saying? Back when I was way younger. You know what I'm saying? This is way back in the days. I'm talking about when I was 19, maybe 18, 19. And my boy picked me up going to get a GED test. I was out there on my trap. You know what I'm saying? I got to admit it. I usually talk about this type of stuff because it's a whole different life I live now. I was trapping. He's like, yo, you should take the GED with me. I'm like, for what? I'm about to be the big kingpin out here. He's like, dogs, you never know. I said, you know what? Let's go. And I went to take the GED with them, and guess what? It was 3 of them. I was the only one that passed, y'all. Crazy, right?
Gods of the city.
Gods of the city, you know what I'm saying?
But how you gonna get these youth them to comprehend that? Y'all gotta give this to go where you came from to where you at now.
Me personally, I'm a whole different person now, and I advocate hard body for the youth. Them, you know what I'm saying? For some reason, I feel so connected to them. I don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know why. Like sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. No.
But you see how you said you feel.
We gotta end it.
You feel that natural cultural connection to the gangster music. How are you able to connect that with yourself? And then at the same time, be an entrepreneur and then relate that to them to get a positive message.
I don't know.
across.
I just feel their pain, man. For some reason, I feel connected to them. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is. I don't think I'm young. I know I'm not young. And all of them call me big bro. They make sure some of them call me mister. They make
That's
sure I
when
feel
you realize
old.
how life changed. When you actually hear a kid call you mister. And sometimes I'm like, what the fuck? Like
They make sure they know I'm
I'm like,
the old
oh
guy.
shit. Like
But
I'm really
at
that
the
old
end
right
of the
now,
day,
son.
I feel connected to them. Like, it's the community. Like I always said this, it's the community. But I want to make sure I end this because it looks like people want to run. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna say this. You know what I'm saying? You already know what it is. Your boy Kill So Frosty. I'm here with my boy
Flight School Pre.
and my boy.
King Kush 718 on the gram.
You heard?
My
Make
son
sure
stay plugged.
yeah, that's the 4th, 5th time. My son plugged it every time. You know what I'm saying? Holla at your boy.
Plug King.
Gang.
Yo.